Hey, Arlene, welcome to the Blueprint session. I'm Jake Burns. So happy to have you here in your interior design company. Today, I think you were mentioning to Brian that you were looking to learn a bit more about your website, maybe things you can update. But tell me, what the impetus was. What was the issue that you were having? And we can kind of start there.
Oh, what are my questions? Well, I think that perhaps the first picture, if you go back to that, perhaps that's too minimalist. The picture of the foyer of
Okay.
the mega mansion, and I shouldn't include that, especially in the beginning of my website.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question, even kind of prefacing that. So, I believe you mentioned that you were having issues. You weren't getting as many people to your website. Is that the case, or you haven't been getting as many people contacting you from the website?
Both.
Okay.
Okay.
So have you looked at your numbers, and your numbers are actually down from previous years or months as far as website traffic?
No. Oh, I think I'm getting traffic, but I'm not getting calls. So you can look at that and see.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, that's always a good place to start, is to, if things are changed, many times what that means is your website traffic is actually down. So if you're not getting as many leads, people messaging you and everything, you start there and look and say, oh, okay, well, last year I had 1,000 people coming to my site every, 2 weeks. Now it's 500. It kind of makes sense that I only have half the people contacting me, right? So,
That's right.
it's always a good place to start, to go look at your Google Analytics and then, kind of get the lay of the land, so to speak, before you just start changing things, because you don't know the reason, right? I mean, you don't know the reason why the numbers are down. So that's a good place to start, is there. Once you understand that, then you can say, okay, now I came to the website, and, and we'll go through a bunch of ideas here today regardless, but then you can come and say, okay, well, the numbers are the same, or actually there's more people coming to my website, but people aren't doing anything. So now what? So then you say, okay, number one, what am I selling? I'm selling interior design. So your services to people who want to make their house, look better, look a certain way, whatever that might be. So then the next thing is you mentioned to me about, is this picture here that keeps, rotating through, is that the right picture to have there? And the answer is, I don't really know. I mean, it really comes down to your clients and what kind of clients you typically have. I mean, would that be a room that you do for 85 or 75% of the clients that you work with, or no? Is that something that was really just a one-off client, and that's the 15% client rather than, the 85% client? Does that make sense in answering that first question of yours?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of where I would start, as far as that first visual impact of the site. Okay, here are the clients that I have that fall into the largest.
It's very, I mean, it's a beautiful space, but it doesn't show a lot of design on the first picture of the foyer.
Right, exactly. It's pretty sparse, and people might be like, okay, so I get like, one ornament and a table, right? So yeah. So, I mean, then you say, okay, 95% of the work I do is living rooms, or, downstairs and kitchens, whatever it is. You start there and say, okay, the business that I wanted are kitchens and living rooms, if that's the case. So I want to find, 5 pictures of the best 5 living rooms that make up the majority of the kind of people who I'm targeting, because people want to see what they're going to get, right? I mean, they want to, I'm doing home renovations right now, and we go and look at sites and look at things. If they're showing stuff from 1975 that they did, great, and it's great that you did the job and you finished it, but that's not the style that I want. I want to see the style that I'm looking for already done by you,
Yes.
So that's always a good place to start.
Okay.
As far as design is concerned.
Okay.
I wrote down some other things too. As we kind of go down the page, I'm going to go through each of these pages. We don't have a ton of time, but we'll go through as quickly as possible. Now, and then, here a lot of times, and I understand why you don't have a call to action here, because it's all about the image. It's all about what you're doing. Like most people would have, some text here, and say a link, but I get it. And I think it's okay that you don't have a call to action here, rather than going straight into that. I love the font that you're using. I like the fact that you have a call to action right here that schedule a call. That's all very good, right? Now, the one thing that I would say that I would change though, is I would actually elevate a lot of the other cool things you have down here. So you get all the way to the bottom, like all the way to the bottom, and you have all these great, awards and things that you're involved in, and these great reviews, like somewhere around here, tons of good reviews. What I would do is actually, after that beginning section, I would start bringing that in. I would start showing some of the great awards that you have. I would start showing, some reviews, like have a rotating, rather than all the way down here at the bottom, which is like what a lot of people do. I would put them right here. I would say the next thing, after you say who you are, it's like you're award-winning design, and here are some of our awesome testimonials. These are the things that we do for people. These are real-world results, because people want to see that credibility aspect.
Okay. Now, if you go to the, there's a whole page on my testimonials, and I have.
I saw that.
All 5-star test. So wouldn't people go there? You're saying they want to read the testimonials before going to the before going through the website?
Generally speaking, most people, when they come here, they're going to take one of two paths. They're going to come and say, okay, where do I go from here? I mean, that's the first question anybody's going to ask. What do I do now, right? So they come here, and the first thing they're going to do is go like that. They're going to scroll down.
Yeah.
I would say probably 90% of everybody, that's the first thing they do. Yeah. And so what's the first thing you want them to see? Do you want them, I mean, obviously you want to tell them who you are and what you do, but they kind of already know that, right? I mean, they came to an interior designer website. They know you're an interior designer. You didn't have it here because you're showing great pictures. So you can have some of this text here, and that's all very good. But I mean, having and showcasing, the reviews you have and the credibility that you bring to the table is almost as important at that point. And then from there, it's really about showcasing projects. So I go down and I keep going down, turn your dreams into reality. And again, that's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. And then some reviews, and then about you, which is good. And then you get down and some pictures and our work. So our work, again, is literally like the last thing that you get to. I mean, when I go to a site, if I'm looking to have somebody design my house, I'm thinking that's the first thing I want to see. This is like, what do they do for other people? Like, how awesome are their designs? Because I can tell you, you can have all the best copy in the world, but if your design doesn't match what I want, I'm going somewhere else.
All right, so let me ask you a question then. Go to the very first page. All right. Why not have, instead of just these two?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I have other large photos besides these two.
Yeah.
Is that what
you could do? You could do that. Yeah. I mean, I think you have a couple of options here. You have a really cool business that's showcasing something visually. So especially today, you can do this and probably do it relatively inexpensively. Everything I have here blows away. What I would do is actually consider getting like a drone and asking one of your clients if you could take some drone footage of flying through the house and kind of like weaving and showcasing, you could change this very easily from a slider of just a couple of pictures or 5 pictures or whatever to a really cool drone footage of like an awesome house. And that really shows, number one, it shows the kind of the level playing field of kind of the income level that you're expecting of people who hire you, so they kind of know where they're at in the game. And, the second thing is it shows that kind of style that you're really selling, like what is your style and why should they hire you? Well, I mean, you have this awesome kind of cool flying video. And if you can't do that, that's fine. Then showcasing 5, photos here is great.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Okay. See, because I have the testimonial page and also the portfolio page and the blog show my work. So, the beginning is getting information about you and our services, and then to go. But I think you're right. I think I should have more really full pictures like this in the beginning.
Right. I mean, because they're buying something visual, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're buying a space and then they're buying you. You know what I mean? They probably kind of have an idea in their head what they want, at least a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, or they've seen a friend have it or whatever. And they are just like, I need to find somebody who can do that. And then when they come to your site and they see that, it's like, okay, well then I can figure everything else out, you know. But that first scene that you get is you have to kind of set a presence.
So so you're saying on the home page to have that drone, which would be one house. Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah, I mean you could do a video that splices together houses if you want. It just gets more and more expensive.
oh, okay, a video. That would be good. Of different.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, can you open this up because I can't get this work. You see the portfolio?
Sure.
Okay. Could I take some of those pictures in the portfolio and make that into a video? Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, you could do that too. I mean, it won't be as clean as doing like a drone footage, but you can still do that, and it'll be smoother transitions between the photos rather than having a slider. So if you have a video there, for sure.
Okay, so the video of the portfolio, or some of the portfolio, could go on at the beginning of the website. Is that what you're thinking?
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could totally do that. And again, think about it from the perspective of somebody who's coming there. You know, they see like 3 pictures right away, and they're like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. I like that. You know, then it's drawing them in, right? And then the next thing they see is like, oh my God, she has like 10 awards, and you know, there's real person here with a review. And the next thing that I'll tell you is if you can get them, like even if you can just get like 3 to 5, get video testimonials from people who you've done work for, and then put those video testimonials on the site because people will watch them.
Oh, so video testimonials. Well, today everything is about video, right?
Everything is video. Everything is going video. And people are getting more comfortable because they're on Zoom calls all day. So, you know, people are getting more and more comfortable doing these kinds of things.
Okay. So we're talking about 2 different videos, and these should be at the beginning of the website. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. So if I go back to the home page, you know, what I could see is, you know, you could do a couple of things. You could, I mean, maybe I wouldn't do this, but you could put some of the, you know, award things at the bottom of the Zillow things that you have over there. Some of these, like if you have like 1 or 2 that you think are awesome, you could feature like one actually in the banner, you know, like on each of the images or on the video, and have it like right here on the video. So it's always like, you know, it's just like the main one, so you don't have like 75 different things, but it just shows credibility, right? They open the gate, they see these awesome photos, they see your like badge that you're like awesome on Houzz or Zillow or something, and then, you know, it's like, okay, that draws them in. The next thing is, you know, has a video here, and it's you know, Sally, and she just had her work done by you, and it says on the left hand side, your award-winning design services, check out what Sally said. And then they watch the video, you know, so it's like, oh, wow, they got real people here actually doing videos. And then you can delve into who you are and kind of your design aesthetic and how you work and all these things. And you can still have these here. You don't have to move them. I would keep, the more reviews you have, the better. But, you know, everything else is fine.
Yeah. Do you think that people only think I have a couple reviews because there's so few in the beginning? When I have at the top, if you know, the testimonial page, which is, and I want to ask you about that because somebody, you know, I need to know that.
Yeah, no, I think what it is if you say, you know, see more real reviews, people will look it up, you know, so if, you know, having a review or 2 up here, whatever you decide to do, it's fine. And then just say, see more real reviews, you know, because it's important that you didn't just like write them yourself and put them on your website. It's awesome that you have this kind of plug-in with, you know, with Houzz.
Right. And exactly. And they're all taken from actual reviews, every single one of them.
Yeah.
their own house and their own Google. So I just took them and put them, or not me, but I just had them taken from house, which we put that in, which was good. And then there's also more. So you can click on that and see the rest of them. So that's one way to see my reviews, along with testimonials.
Exactly, and that's to your point too.
Yeah.
You know, when I go to, and we'll just talk about testimonials since we're there. Testimonials, you know, we have a platform actually, it's called My Review Dashboard, that we use that automatically pulls in reviews from a lot of these places like Google and Facebook and other places. So you're getting all the real reviews automatically drawn into your site. But how you're doing it's fine. It's good. It's just another opportunity. So that's what I would say about your homepage. Focus on, make sure.
Should I do Google reviews? Maybe that would be part of what I do too. And then live.
I would definitely do Google. I would definitely focus on Google reviews, not just because of pulling them into the site and it's the ease of that, but people, when they're searching, where are they going? You know, 9 times out of 10, the first thing they do is they go to Google and they're searching. And I brought a couple other tabs up, which we'll go over here in a second about that, and we'll talk about the reviews. So, but real quick on the homepage, and then we can skip through a couple of other small things I saw. There's always a million. I mean, you're doing a great job, just so you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
About this testimonial. Do you like the testimonials? There are a few testimonials put throughout the site, but then the majority of them are in the page of testimonials. Isn't that okay?
I mean, personally, you know, how you have them here is not probably what I would do if it was just up to me. I would have them all in kind of one flow, because it's like 2 different flows, and neither of these look like they're from House. They just both kind of look like they're plugins that you have. So, and I see that you have the review link there, which is nice.
Take a look and see.
What's that?
I can't use my, yes, I can. You see House. This was on House. You know, so many.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying you have, so what I'm saying is, okay, number one, like you have to scroll a bit down to get to it, but after you get here, there's like this review slider, and that's fine, you know, it's fine. And then you have a second review slider, and so it's like, but they look totally different. Whereas if you just had kind of a list of reviews or one slider or something, I think that would probably be a little bit cleaner. But that's just, again, that's not the end of the world. It's just kind of an observation.
Okay.
All right, so.
And go into Bobb, because what do you think of Bobb? What's it Bobb? Oh yeah, what do you think of this? Do you think this is okay?
So actually, this is interesting. I went and did this earlier, and it wouldn't let me sign up. So I don't know what was going on with it. I did want to mention that to you. I put my email address in, and for whatever reason, it wouldn't see. It's like not doing anything.
Okay.
So it's probably because it's in this pop-up thing, and for whatever reason, it doesn't like that.
Okay.
So I would definitely check on that.
Wait. Do you like the idea of the pop-up? I can fix that. I have.
Oh, I love pop-ups. We use them all the time. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to use the constant contact pop-up, you know, there's another one that's free for probably sites with your average number of users. It's called Privy, Privy.com. And they, you know, the design will be a little bit better. PR, yeah, .com.
Privy.com. And what does that give you?
A pop-up that automatically goes in your site, and you don't have to embed it inside of like something. Constant Contact actually already also has one. They're just not quite as attractive. Like the form that you used there was a form. It wasn't their pop-up.
Yeah, this one is very pretty.
Right. So it's definitely nicer, and it integrates with Constant Contact. So you can automatically send people to that and then do a welcome email series.
Okay. Do you think I should have these photos closer together, not so much space, and have larger pictures?
This page looks fine to me. I have no problems with this page at all. This looks good.
Okay.
The fact that you're posting is great.
And you can see people can open it up, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing to think about when you're making these posts,
Yeah.
and this is a little bit of just wonkiness, but think about from the perspective of, it's great content. Think about the title of it. This title, and we'll talk about this in a second too, when we go into the Google stuff. Think about, like, if I were on Google and I was searching to solve whatever problem you're solving here, what would I search for? Now, it doesn't have to be a computer written kind of wonky, weird thing, but, instead of how to pair colors like a pro, maybe, and maybe that's a perfectly good title. I don't know, but, or say hello to our new website. Think about something that somebody would be searching for, like, and maybe it actually isn't maybe that bad, but, it's maybe some other one. Let me just see. That might be a better one. So, changing this title to kitchen design for the elderly, or kitchen design for 60 plus, or kitchen design for retirees. I don't know, something you can think about, like how would somebody search for that in Google, and then kind of come up with the title of it. Does that make sense?
And then what happens if they search for it in Google? Does it come up as my website? No.
Well, you have a better possibility of coming up, yeah. So, if somebody searches for that and you have, some page rank, and we'll get into this stuff real quick. I know we don't have a ton of time. So with that, I'll jump then to kind of, how you're doing things with regard to SEO. So I'm going to jump real quick and just tell you, in that same concept where we just talked about the blog and the title of the blog, do you see the title up here? It says Style, Flair, Impeccable, Arlene, Bobb, Interior Design. So that's called a page title, and that's what it shows up in Google. So I did a search for interior design near Valley Kenwood, Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I knew how to say that.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. So anyway, I scroll down, and lo and behold, there you are, right? You actually do pretty well. You rank like 5th or 4th or something like that in Google for that. Very well done. So the page title I just said, Style, Flair, Impeccable, Arlene, Bobb, Interior Design, that's the page title right there. See that? And this right here is called the meta description. And you can change these on each page of your site to be very specific to what both the site content is about, as well as what people are searching for. So as an example, if it were up to me, I would probably change your thing to Arlene, Bobb, Interior Design is fine. Style, Flair, Impeccable, I like those words, but think about it from the perspective of what is somebody searching for? Are they searching for interior designers near Valley Kenwood, or interior designers near, like, the best interior designer near Philadelphia, or north of Philadelphia, or Fairmount Park, or whatever they're searching for? Think about it from that perspective. You can keep those 3 words, but you can add, like, best interior designer, award-winning interior designer near XYZ. And when you do that, then you're really opening yourself up to people who search for designers near me, or interior designers near me, or interior designers in Philadelphia. And I'll show you why. So I'm going to go to Interior Design Philadelphia, right?
How do you change that? How can that be changed?
It's in WordPress. It's you can there's if you just look up how to change meta description, page title, and in WordPress, you'll get like 1,000 results. It's pretty tried and true. And I'll, in this video, when I post it to YouTube, I'll actually post a link to somewhere where it'll tell you how to do that. Okay. Sure. So when I scroll down here, this is interior design near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What do I find? I find interior designers that did exactly what I told you just to do. Philadelphia interior designer, Philadelphia interior designers and decorators. Where's another one? Glenistone Interior Design, Philadelphia and Main Line.
That's right.
So think about where you're selling. I mean, you're probably selling on the Main Line.
Yeah.
So think about where you're selling and introduce that on every single page in a slightly different way. Like one page can be Philadelphia, one page can be the Main Line, one page can be Philadelphia and Main Line, one can be Valley Kenwood. Like you can just change it up, but every single page should be like should showcase like testimonials of the best interior designer near XYZ, and do that on every page, and then have the meta description describe the page and what's on that page, but also who you are and what you do. That simple.
Okay, for how do you do it? And this is Google, right?
This is Google. Yeah, this is, so I just did a basic, search on Google.
Yeah, I have to
All right, next.
do this one because this is not my forte. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you need help with this stuff too, we can always help, but just giving you kind of the down low. All right, so the next thing is, you're doing pretty well in local search. You have 10 reviews, right? This is you have 10 reviews. That's not bad. This person, I mean, they're doing design, like art, they're doing sales. If you can get this up and get this to like 25 or more, it's going to be so beneficial. The more reviews you have, the better. Because look at your competition. I just went to Philadelphia, and you're killing these people. This person has 5 reviews. Just to give you an idea, like I just hired a bunch of people to do work on my house here. I live in Florida, and I'm getting construction people and they have like 2 reviews. I'm like, I'm not going to hire this person. They have 2 reviews. Like it could be their brother who wrote that review for all I know. So if you have 25, 30 reviews, they're probably real. Number one. Number two, it's going to help you rank better in Google.
Okay, I have them. Right, you're right about that. I have the reviews. Can they take the reviews from house, or do they have to start over?
That you can ask them and be like, hey, look, I really appreciate what you did on House. I'm trying to get my reviews up on Google. It'd be, a huge favor for you, for me, if you did that. Just take 5 seconds. You can send them a direct link to where they would do that. You just click on this and then copy this link up here. Okay. And then they can just go and give you a review. And like I said, that's going to help you because when you look down the left-hand side.
This has nothing to do with my website.
Nope, this is nothing. This is Google My Business. This is all Google.
My business. Okay.
Because again, think about it from the user perspective. When I go to Atlanta looking for breakfast, or I go somewhere new looking for breakfast, the first thing I do is go to Google or Yelp, and I look for the top rated restaurants and things. So it's the same thing when I'm looking for a designer or a construction person or whatever. I have to have trust. It builds credibility when you have 25, 30, 50 reviews.
Right. And I guess one of the first things that showing that they would read quickly, award-winning. Don't you think?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, award-winning is great. Absolutely.
Okay. What else do people need to see?
So, I mean, those are the things, like I said.
More reviews, right?
Yeah, keep it. I always tell people, like, I know all this seems complicated. I'm throwing a ton at you, like a ton in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of time. But, just keep it simple. Focus on the things that you can do well. Make sure you're showcasing your reviews. Make sure you're getting more reviews. Make sure you're showcasing the projects that you're doing. And if you can do those couple of things and update, like I said, some technical things with your website, you're going to get more coming in. And you're doing a good job here. Like I just went to your house. This is great, but you don't have any of this on your website, right? So I would also like pull in, and maybe you have these photos, but I would pull in like this whole house thing and have like a house section saying like, hey, check out all my stuff on house. And here are some of the projects. This can even be a blog post. Like my latest, blog post is this master bathroom redesign, and it takes them to house, and showcases it. All these things integrate. They don't live on islands. You know what I mean? And if you do that and you bring it all kind of together, you're going to make it easy for the consumer.
So you think that this whole house thing should be on my website too? Well,
I think you can integrate them. You can integrate the two. I mean, there's no reason this couldn't be a blog post, so so you have, as an example, you have your portfolio where you post the photos. You make a blog post about your most recent project that has a video of, like a drone video or something. You have pictures on there and you write up a 250 word write up being like, Alex Jones here, on blah, 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 and Bala Kinwood hired me to do X, Y, and Z. And, it was a great project. I loved it. We went from this to this. Here are some of the ideas that we had, and tell the story of the project, and people will get into that. I mean, you can then use it on social media. You have it on your website. It builds, it's adding more content. So Google likes that when you add content. So it does all these great things, and you're just reusing the same content like 5 different times, rather than having to, create a new something every single day. Use what you already have. So I know we're out of time, and we burned through all kinds of things. Are there any questions I can answer for you before I turn this off?
Okay. I know you helped me a lot. That pop-up I should change because it's not that pretty. And
right. It's not even working. Yeah.
No. Okay.
And again, if you need help with any of this stuff, we do sell hour packs, where you can buy as little as like 3 hours, and we can jump in and do one or two things. We'll tell you exactly what will get done. And if we go over an hour, it's not a big deal. And those hours don't expire. So just let us know. We're happy to help.
Okay. How much is an hour?
Well, the hour packs go by, starting at 3 hours, we sell that for $250. Then for 5 hours, it's $550. And then for 10 hours, we give another discount, and it's $1,000 for 10 hours. Typically, our hourly rate's $150, so it's a pretty good deal. We do that 3 hour pack as kind of an introductory, just to get to know us kind of thing.
Okay. All right. And how do I reach you?
What's that?
How's that I reach you, Bryan? Can I have your phone number?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll send you a link, and you just pay via the link, and then we can get started on whatever project you're looking to do.
Okay.
And we'll obviously quote you on time, let you know how long we think it's going to take, and give you a couple of ideas to fill the rest of your time.
Oh, fabulous. All right, so you'll send me a link today.
Absolutely. We'll send you a link.
Sounds good.
So any other questions I can answer for you?
Oh, I know. Can you look at my logo quickly?
Sure.
Go to the first page. Do you like it? And do you like the fact that what is it? GIF, isn't it?
Yeah. So when I came to your site, I actually love this. I thought this was really cool. It's unique. It's different. I like the fact you did that. Now, I mean, the font you have is awesome. I think it's cool that you do that whole scripty thing. I mean, I personally probably wouldn't have this kind of pinkish background, but I mean, it's not the end of the world, so that's really up to you. But I mean, I love that you did that. I think it was very unique.
I can't change
and it's such a.
I can't change the thing. I think I can agree with you. When it was first done, I'd like to think, but there's no way to change that, is there, unless you work with the actual video.
Yeah. So what is? I'm just looking to see what it is. It's an animated GIF. So whoever made the animated GIF would just have to remake it without that color in the background.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really, really have enjoyed it. Hopefully I helped a little bit, if nothing else.
One more question. Do you think I should
sure.
another page? I mean, I have the FAQs. Did you see that? And do you like it?
Sorry, what was that? You want to add another page? Is that what you said?
I mean, do you like the about FAQs? Should I put anything different in there?
That doesn't bother me. Actually, I'll show you one thing I did see real quick, just because I have it in my notes here. Right. On services, this did throw me off a little bit. All right. So it's just loading. The site is a little slow too. I would definitely have that looked at to have it sped up, because it's a little slow. So I get the services, and then I don't see any services. I see our process, and I see our approach, and then I scroll all the way down, and I finally get to our services.
Okay. You don't mind?
I would move that to the top.
Okay. So
yeah, I mean, or at least maneuver things a little bit. I just think it was like, I get the services, and it's like, I mean, you if you want to keep it like this is fine. But I would just say, like interior design process, like, because that's really what you're doing. If you don't want to change all that, you can have it kind of just change the verbiage a little bit, so it just feels like you're talking about what service you provide.
Interior design process is better.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing is, do you work with other people or is this really just you? Because
I work
if
with,
it's,
yeah, I'm doing all the design, but I do
Mhm.
have independent contractors, all of my
Sure.
accounting and
Okay.
my person that helps me with the
Mhm.
website, not, yeah, the website, yeah, all that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the only thing I would suggest, and it really is not a huge deal. It was just kind of something I thought of, is you could change the hour, to I or, we. I mean, it's just kind of more personal because it's really about,
Okay, I think that's very important. Why didn't I do
because
it?
it shows you're small.
Yes,
Like I always say, take advantage of what you are. Like if you're small, be small. Like don't act like you're, GE or something. Be small and give that kind of, unique personal touch.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So,
Oh,
all right. Well, thank you so much again for your time. Anything comes up after the fact, just let me know. I'm always happy to jump on a call and help out. Okay.
thank you very, very much, Arlene. I'm delightful to talk to you, and we'll be in touch. So send me the link, and we'll work together.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
You too, Arlene. Bye.